Welcome to the Friday Fenix special report. Tonight, what the heck is up with this toxic train thing in Ohio? We're going to break it down for you. So on February 3rd, a train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. The train was carrying a bunch of hazardous chemicals, and turns out when you shake those up real hard, they start to get a little spicy. One of those chemicals was vinyl chloride, which is used to make PVC pipes. Vinyl chloride has been linked medically to various cancers and linked romantically with Pete Davidson. And so the vinyl chloride was getting ready to go boom, so the rail company was like, well, should we set it on fire or let it explode? And if your choices are ever set it on fire or let it explode, you really need to reevaluate some things. So they said, let's set it on fire, and told everyone to get out of Dodge for a hot second while they made a giant mushroom cloud of toxic chemicals over the town. Nothing calms the townsfolk down quite like a mushroom cloud. Pundits and politicians decided this debacle was perfect for partisan finger-pointing. It's a shame we can't make PVC pipe out of politicians blaming each other. It's the same amount of toxicity, but unlike vinyl chloride, it's a renewable resource. So after a few days, they were like, all right, guys, come on back. Everything's good. Ignore the dead fish. And residents were like, okay? But when residents returned home, they couldn't help but notice that the air was tangier than expired guacamole. Reports of headaches, rashes, nausea, and other side effects started pouring in, leading many to wonder, is it even safe to be here? So a town hall was scheduled so residents could ask questions. Meanwhile, the Norfolk Southern Rail Company, predictably playing the role of corporate evildoer in the worst kind of made-for-TV movie, decided to skip the town hall. They cited a potentially explosive and toxic environment as well as concerns for their health and safety. Worried that the meeting would quickly go off the rails, the reps fled the area, quote, until the smoke clears. But they're not total bastards. They gave everyone an extremely teensy amount of money and helped them manage their stress by hiring a wellness consultant. Now let's take a deep breath. Okay, maybe actually a nice shallow breath. Or actually, do you happen to have a gas mask handy? Despite everyone having these pesky medical symptoms, there have been lots of assurances that things are safe. The EPA keeps checking air and water levels and giving the thumbs up, and the governor even visited a local home and drank the tap water. The residents responded by asking, and did you test the soil? To which the EPA in Norfolk Southern said, the soil. Can you excuse me for a minute? I think I hear my mom calling me. After waiting for 10 days to say anything about it, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is finally headed to the site to have a look around. Soon, Buttigieg will be not only the first openly gay Secretary of Transportation, but also the first two-headed Secretary of Transportation. And now, a quick word from our friends at Southwest Airlines. At Southwest, safety is important to us. Your bags aren't, and you're not high on the list either. But at least when we fuck up, we don't poison an entire town. Southwest Airlines. Starting to not sound so bad, eh? So what caused this train to derail? There are a lot of theories. A security camera video from 20 miles before East Palestine shows the train throwing sparks underneath it. The NTSB says this is probably from an overheated wheel bearing, but Norfolk Southern says that's just their standard pyrotechnics. It's metal. We should also note that train lengths have increased 25% in the last 20 years, depending on whether or not you measure from the taint. Rail companies are doing everything they can to pull more cargo faster with fewer human employees. In a perfect world, a 750-car train would be driven by one single chimpanzee named Norbert that doesn't have any questions about health insurance. Back when Obama was president, there was a rule that trains carrying hazardous materials had to have special brakes to prevent these kinds of derailments, but Trump repealed that rule. Not saying that would have necessarily helped in this case, but there were over 1,000 train derailments in the U.S. last year, so yeah, maybe let's get some better brakes going. Rail companies have been lobbying and donating to politicians in an effort to avoid extra regulations for years now. And guess what? It's working great. Profits are up, Norfolk Southern is a $50 billion company, and Wall Street says this is actually a good time to buy their stock. Yeah, that'll show them. Buy that stock and drive the price up. They gotta learn that there are consequences for their actions. So where do we go from here? Well, the EPA is demanding that Norfolk Southern clean up the entire area, and they can't have any dessert until they're finished. Norfolk Southern has said it will and opened its pocketbook slightly wider to donate 0.008% of its net worth to the affected townspeople. The residents of East Palestine are pretty stuck for the moment, and we're probably gonna see more of this kind of thing because there's no real financial incentive to do things differently. Okay, now I'm bummed out. Can we roll the kittens, please? Oh, that's better. Thank you. For more news with a side of funny, subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll give you a look back at the week's news every Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.